Hello everyone. Let's review shlokas 2 and 3 of Lalita Sahasranamam. This contains namas 6 through 12. Udyadbanu Sahasrabha Chaturbahu Samanvita Ragaswarupa Pashadya Krodha Karankushojvala Manorupekshukodanda Panchatanmatra Sayaka Nijaruna Prabhapura Majjad Brahmanda Mandala. So the namas are Udyadbanu Sahasrabha is nama number 6, Chaturbahu Samanvita is nama number 7, Ragaswarupa Pashadya is nama number 8, Krodha Karankushojvala is nama number 9, Mano Rupekshukodanda is nama number 10, Panchatanmatra Sayaka is nama number 11, Nijaruna Prabhapura Majjad Brahmanda Mandala is nama number 12. So let's look at Udyadbanu Sahasrabha. Udyadbanu means rising sun. In Sanskrit, Udya is also east. So Udyadbanu is rising sun. Banu is sun. Sahasra Abha. Sahasram means thousand and Abha means appearance. So Udyadbanu Sahasrabha means brilliant like thousand rising suns. There are two things that are denoted with this nama. One is the rising sun is usually red in color. So this is a significance that Lalita is red and red like thousand rising suns. So it denotes that Lalita is red. The other thing that it's representing is when the sun rises, the darkness of the earth is dispelled. Similarly, Lalita is capable of dispelling our ignorance, and in that she is like thousand suns. So that's another thing that's denoted here. Chaturbahu Samanvita. Chatur means four, Bahu means arms or hands, Samanvita means possessing. So Chaturbahu Samanvita means she is possessing four arms. And the next two lines tell us what she is holding in her hands. Raga Swarupa Pashadya. Ragam means desire. Swarupa means symbolizing or indicating. Pasha. Pasham means rope or noose. So she's possessing a noose that symbolizes desire. Krodhakara Angushojvala. Angusham means goad. And usually this is something that the elephant mahout uses to control the elephant. So Angusham is goad. So in another hand, she is possessing the Angusham. Krodhakara Angusha Ujvala. Krodha means anger. So this Angusham, Ujvala means lightning speed. So this Angusham, her goad, is capable of moving fast as swiftly like anger. So when anger rises, it rises instantly in us. Like that, the goad that Lalita is possessing in her arms is capable of moving that swiftly. So Krodhakara Angushojvala. Manorupa Ikshukodanda. Mano means mind, and Ikshukodanda. Kodanda means bow. And what is that bow made of? Ikshu. Ikshu means sugarcane. So in another hand, she is possessing a sugarcane bow that represents our mind. Panchatanmatra Sayaka. Sayaka means arrows. And in another, the fourth hand, she is holding arrows. And what do those arrows represent? The arrows represent the Tanmatra. Tanmatra means our senses. So the senses are hearing, touch, vision, taste and smell. In Sanskrit, they are called Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. So it represents our senses. And there are 5 senses. So Pancha Tanmatra are the 5 senses. So the arrows in her hand represents the 5 senses. So in the 4 arms, one arm she is holding a rope or noose which represents our desires. And then in another hand she is holding a goad which is capable of moving swiftly. and then in another hand she is holding a sugarcane bow that represents our mind, and then in one last hand she is holding her arrows, which represent all our five senses. So what is the significance of these items that are in Lalita's hands? So let's start with the tanmatras, right? The senses. So if you look at us as human beings, we are all driven by our senses. Anything that is in our mind, if you see how it got there, it got through one of the five senses. So, for example, if we have never eaten gulab jamun, we don't know about gulab jamun, right? It's only when we heard about it, we went and tasted it, we felt its texture, we then got it into our mind, and then our mind said, oh, this is nice, so I'm going to put it in my like bucket. And then once it puts it in the like bucket, next time there is a longing for us to want to eat that gulab jamun. That desire happened because our mind knew about it. How did our mind know about it? That's because it came through one of our senses. So for human beings, we are all driven by our desires, right? Our desires are what drive our actions. And when we say desires, it doesn't necessarily mean what we like. It's also what we dislike. Sometimes when we dislike, we go all out to avoid it. So us as human beings, we are all driven by our desires. And our desires drive all our actions. And where did those desires come from? Those desires came from our mind. And how did they get into our mind? They came through the senses. So here what Lalita is trying to tell us is, if you direct your senses towards me, I can make sure, and if we direct our senses towards Lalita, then Lalita will watch for our desires, and if they get overwhelming and they're driving in the wrong path, then she has a goad that can bring us back swiftly into the right path. So this is a indication that we should direct our senses towards Lalita. So why should we direct our senses towards Lalita? Because if we focus our senses on the right areas, then what happens is what goes into our mind is also in the right direction. So when you consume only positive things, or you only consume the right things and do not distract your mind on things that can derail us, then the desires that originate in our mind are also in the right direction. And if the desires in our mind are in the right direction, then the actions that we take will also be in the right direction, which ultimately lead to the realization. And this is something that even in Bhajagovindam, Adi Sankaracharya says, right? Sendriya manasa niyama deva drishyasi nija hridayastha devam. Only by disciplining our mind and senses can we see that God who's residing in our heart. And if you see, that is the ultimate goal of Lalita Sahasranamam as well. The moment we realize that Lalita and us are one and the same, and that Lalita resides in our heart, then that person is a realized person. So how do you get there? Only by disciplining your senses and mind. And that's why the mind is represented using sugarcane. So if you look at sugarcane, if you just leave the sugarcane like that, it is simply a stick with a bunch of leaves. But if you want to get the goodness of that sugarcane, then the sugarcane is crushed. Either we can bite into it and crush and get the sweetness, or it goes into a mill and gets processed as sugar or sugarcane juice, and that's when we get the sweetness. Like that, our senses and mind are essential for our survival, right? As human beings, if we cannot, if we touch the fire and cannot feel its heat, then we could get hurt by that. So, or we are not able to see something, then we don't know where we are walking, we could walk into danger. So the senses are extremely useful for human beings, and their job is to look outside and bring information for our mind. It is when they go undisciplined and they start to consume a whole lot of things, then our mind gets overly clouded. So it is important that we do have these senses. And similarly, our mind, right? The ability to think, the ability to have a mind is what differentiates human beings from all other animals. And the idea of the mind is that we utilize this ability to think to evolve ourselves, to raise up and become more mature, as opposed to consuming all sorts of information and continually rolling in this materialistic world, right? So that's the idea of the mind. So the mind is a good thing to have, the senses are good things to have, but they all need discipline. They all need to be channeled, and we can't just let them run in any direction. So when it's properly disciplined, then it becomes a path for us to evolve and reach that realization. When uncontrolled and left to its own ways, then it can become the very thing that brings us that misery. It can create all sorts of competing emotions in us, which is like the anger, the jealousy, or being proud, or being overly attached to things. So it can cause all of that when it is undisciplined. So this is a reminder for us to direct our senses towards Lalita. And when we direct our senses towards Lalita, our mind is clear, and then that mind creates the right desires. And in the event that we get overwhelmed by those desires and we run off path, she has the goad. Just like the Mahout can control the elephant, she can control us and bring us back on the right path. And this is something that in Bhajagovindam Adi Shankaracharya also says, Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Muktihi. So satsangam means associating with the right things. So when our senses are directed towards the right things, we keep good company, we consume the right things, then Nisangatvam means a level of detachment, if you will. And that detachment doesn't mean renunciation or aversion, it just means not getting overly involved. So when we are able to take a step back, Nisangatve Nirmohatvam. Nirmohatvam means our mind then is no longer clouded. It is not confused. If you put too much information, you consume all sorts of things, our mind runs off in a different direction. So when we direct it properly, our mind is not clouded. Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam. So when our mind is not clouded, our buddhi can think clearly, which then means we are no longer confused. And when we are no longer confused, that means our mind is calm. When our mind is calm, Nischalatatve Jivan Muktihi, then we can move towards the path of realization. The last one, Nijaruna Prabhapura Majjat Brahmanda Mandala. Nija means one's own or innate. Aruna is the color red. Prabhapura means brilliance or effulgence. Majjat Brahmanda Mandala. Majjat means sinking or bathing or drowning. Brahmanda Mandala means the universe. Brahmandam is the cosmic egg. Mandala is the circular shape. So the cosmic egg that's circular in shape is the universe. So Nijaruna Prabhapura Majjat Brahmanda Mandala means she's bathing this universe in her rosy effulgence or her radiance. She's bathing this universe in her radiance. Thank you.